Many of you know IonQ. We are the largest quantum company, I would argue, in the world. We're certainly the largest public company. And we operate a global business that actually we believe is leading in the business of quantum. And we define the business of quantum as quantum computing, quantum networking, and quantum sensing. Now, Marco's only got, I think, less than 14 minutes at this point because I've consumed a minute in this section. And so we're just going to talk about one of these product families or verticals, and that's quantum networking. Cybersecurity is a topic, as everybody knows, that is near and dear to the heart of Mayor Marino, Mayor James, Mayor Moore, and of course, all of our sponsorship in the state of Florida and all of our support. I'm as grateful as everyone here that this event is an inflection point that we will all remember and be proud of. But Marco, who's a modest man, actually is a world authority on the topic of quantum cybersecurity and quantum key distribution. And so I encourage you to listen to his talk and take it to heart because he has implemented it in some of the largest institutions in the world. He used to run research at JP Morgan up until about 3 months ago when he finally agreed after 5 years of me attempting to get him to IonQ to join the party. So without further ado, Marco, please take it away, and I will listen as intently as the rest of the audience.
Thanks, Niccolo. Yeah, so we talked about the power of quantum computing. It's exponential, and we can solve so many problems. I just wanted to mention, for example, in the banking industry, there are problems like portfolio optimization, derivative pricing, risk analysis, and a lot of things in the realm of machine learning. They're so complex that technically they cannot be solved today with classical computers. So when I went to JP Morgan, I asked them, but they're so complex, how have you solved this problem so far? And they said, well, we use approximations. So with quantum, these approximations will go away. Now, there is one caveat here. Quantum is great in every single thing, you know, all these problems, but unfortunately, it is also great at solving a problem that we didn't want it to be capable of solving, which is breaking today's cryptography. So all the cryptography that we use today, every single algorithm, RSA, Diffie-Hellman, and the elliptic curve, these three algorithms that are predominant today on the internet, emails and internet transactions, have already been discovered to be vulnerable. There is an algorithm called the Shor's algorithm, named after its inventor, Peter Shor, from MIT. This algorithm breaks the cryptographic algorithms that we use today. We haven't yet we don't have yet a quantum computer big enough to break these algorithms. So it looks like we are safe, but in reality we are not. First of all, it will only take a couple of years, maybe 3 years at most, with even with our quantum computer at IonQ. Unfortunately, our computer is great for so many things, but it will also be capable of breaking cryptography. And the other problem is that our enemies, you know, the nation-state actors that want to see the destruction of America, are already collecting encrypted data exchanged on the internet today, like emails, banking transactions, healthcare records. And even though these records, everything is encrypted, they are harvesting this encrypted data with the intent of decrypting it when the quantum computers will be sufficiently powerful. So it's a new attack that the NSA defined as harvest now, decrypt later. So it's important, really important, that every company in the world transitions to quantum-resistant technologies. So there are two solutions that have been identified. One is called post-quantum cryptography. It is an effort organized by the National Institute of Standards and Technologies, NIST, that back in 2017 issued a call for new algorithms that are supposedly quantum resistant, but there is no proof, unfortunately. So of the 82 algorithms that were submitted for standardization, only 4 survived. And of these 4, 3 were for digital signature and only 1 for encryption and key exchange. So I feel like almost it's hard to trust a technology that is still based on old paradigms, like the idea of assuming that an attacker doesn't have sufficiently strong computers. With quantum computers, this assumption doesn't hold anymore. So at IonQ, we have a solution, and I have to say something very interesting. So when I was at JP Morgan in 2021, I brought this technology into JP Morgan. They didn't know it existed. It's called the quantum key distribution. And back then, we created a prototype showing that quantum key distribution, which is the second approach that is quantum resistant, works really very well. And we made a search over all the quantum key distribution companies in the world, and we identified a company called ID Quantique that has the best devices, and that became the vendor used by JP Morgan. And now ID Quantique is an IonQ company, and this happened even before I joined IonQ. So I'm not like advertising anything. This is really an incredible thing that really made me even more passionate about IonQ. So how does quantum key distribution work? It doesn't use this public and private key ideas that became vulnerable thanks to Shor's algorithm. Quantum key distribution allows two parties to agree on the same cryptographic key without encrypting it. The key is transmitted as a quantum state. So it's transmitted as qubits. It turns out that there are so many principles of quantum mechanics that now protect this key. The key cannot be copied. The key cannot be measured. So it's so secure that quantum key distribution is the only technology in the universe that is information theoretically secure, mathematically proven to be secure, and the only technology that immediately notifies the two parties exchanging the key if there is an eavesdropper. So it allows the eavesdropper to be immediately detected. So with quantum key distribution, now we have the ability to install these quantum key distribution boxes, and it's only at the network layer, so there is no code, code surgery that needs to be done. Everything happens at the network layer, and you can secure your entire infrastructure. So, and there will be no harvest now, decrypt later attack anyway, because of this. So quantum key distribution is part of a wider domain called the quantum networking and quantum communications. IonQ has an entire department working on this. And the reason is that with quantum networking, you can actually use the same principles that I described about quantum key distribution, so the ability to deliver qubits over the network. And you can actually put two computers in a network. So you can create a quantum internet. And it's not like putting two classical computers, because like connecting two classical computers. When you connect two quantum computers using a quantum network, the qubits between the two computers can be entangled with each other. And as I said before, the entanglement takes place instantly. Every change in one qubit affects the other qubits in the same entanglement network instantly. So you really can connect quantum computers and make them act as one computer. Now, there are some limitations that have been presented over the years about this technology. For example, when you transmit these qubits over the network, they are transmitted as photons. Photons are perfectly valid quantum particles, so they obey to these rules of entanglement and superposition. But because of the interference of the environment and so on, these photons can remain in superposition for a short amount of time. And so the distance between the two quantum key distribution devices has to be something around no more than 175 kilometers. So this has been flagged as a limitation. But in reality, at IonQ, we have already the solution. There is a technology called the quantum repeaters that allows for these segments of 175 kilometers each to be concatenated with each other without any loss. And if you have to go like across the ocean, for example, then it's hard to create these segments and to install a quantum repeater underwater. But there is another technology that intervenes here, which is satellite-based quantum key distribution. So satellite-based QKD allows you to exchange keys from a ground station with a satellite, and then from the satellite to another ground station. So we can connect, say, West Palm Beach to London, and there is no problem. I have to say that China is way advanced in quantum key distribution. They created a network of 4,600 kilometers. They connect Beijing to Shanghai and many cities along the way. They're now connected with Russia and even South Africa, again, using satellites. So they're trying to connect all the BRICS countries together. And it's interesting that they're using quantum key distribution and not post-quantum cryptography. It means that they know that QKD is unbreakable. There is no backdoor, and they don't want to have any backdoor, but we shouldn't want to have backdoors either. So it's very important to realize that this technology needs to be embraced. And in terms of satellites, we do have the satellite technology at IonQ. You probably heard about our acquisition of Capella Space, a leader in satellite technology. And so our satellites can become QKD enabled to allow for this communication, or they can also be used just for quantum networks and create networks of quantum computers, as I explained before. So it's now a matter of America becoming a leader, and in particular this area, Florida, West Palm Beach, and the entire state of Florida. QKD is a technology that is extremely mature. It has been around for 41 years. I know some people mentioned in the past, quantum computing requires still a couple of years, maybe 3 years to be used in production. QKD is already used in production. I just gave you the example of China. So it's imperative that we adopt this technology, we become leaders, we don't let other countries lead, because when a country leads in the space of cybersecurity, all the standards, all the directions that the industry takes, we have to follow that particular country, those actors. So we want to be in charge. This is an American technology. It was invented in the US. So we should continue to lead. And a state like Florida that has, it's like a flat state, we can actually connect all the hubs and make it like a quantum resistant state. It can become the first state in the United States to be quantum enabled in terms of quantum key distribution and in terms of quantum networks with our quantum computers. So that's the end of my presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions since we still have a minute. Sure.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. We know that AI has an exponential energy demand. What is the energy demand for quantum? And two, I wanted to ask about, you mentioned maintaining the superposition over long distances. What's required to make that happen?
Sure. So this is a great question. The first one I'm really passionate about, because I visited many times the national labs owned by the Department of Energy, because I collaborated with them, Oak Ridge, Argonne, and so on. And the supercomputers they take a space that is almost like 10 times this room. And I asked, first of all, I walked into this space. It was so hot, air conditioning, everything, all these racks. So I asked them, but your electrical bill must be crazy. And they said, well, we have a dedicated nuclear plant. Now, a quantum computer is literally as big as this platform, even smaller, actually, to be honest. The consumption, the energy consumption is the equivalent of 10 hair dryers. So imagine the difference. A nuclear plant powering the largest supercomputer in the world versus 10 hair dryers, the equivalent of 10 hair dryers powering a quantum computer that is more powerful than the most powerful classical supercomputer in the world. So AI obviously requires that type of supercomputers, but fortunately when AI runs in the future on a quantum computer, we will see a gigantic benefit for our environment, because we're not going to spend all that money and pollute the atmosphere with all that like radiation and stuff like that. And then, sorry, the second question.
Extend the lengths, the distances. How do you maintain the what's required to make that happen?
Yeah, so that's first of all, there is always like interference when you start making a fiber connection very long. Then the qubits lose their superposition after a certain amount of time. So obviously, like placing the fiber in situations where there is not like a subway in nearby and other things will definitely help. But otherwise, our quantum repeater technology allows for the superposition to be maintained for like extremely long distances. There is no limitation because you can actually entangle the qubits all the way from one point to another point, no matter what the distance is. Thank you. I'm afraid that I'm almost done, but maybe just one more question.
As AI becomes more self-sufficient, and now you tag along quantum computing on top of it, how do we humans and countries still keep control of all the processes that could run by itself?
So that's true. AI is already doing amazing things. We use it every day. With quantum computers, AI will become even more powerful. We have the ability to retrain our machine learning models instantly, as opposed to machine learning models that today would require 6 months to be retrained. We will have the ability to eliminate almost the false positives and false negatives that we have today. So yes, it becomes almost like an ethical problem to understand how we can control AI when it's already like a concern to many institutions and to many people to see what AI can do, let alone when it will be powered by a quantum computer. So obviously we will have to have regulations around it. And thank you again for your attention.